Ricky Gervais practically announced the death of Hollywood at the Golden Globes in 2020, and its decadent, lifeless body has been hobbling along ever since.
A movie where people survive by acting like they don't see a thing. Sort of like working for Harvey Weinstein. You did it. I didn't. You did it. Shut the fuck up.
But I can't believe how prophetic he sounds in hindsight, taking names and pointing fingers at the top of Hollywood far before the audience had caught on to their filth.
Spoiler alert, season 2 is on the way, so in the end, he obviously didn't himself. Just like Jeffrey Epstein. Shut up. I know he's your friend, but I don't care.
And that's why they say, sometimes when you're talking to an idiot, the goal is not to convince the idiot. It's to expose their reality to everyone else that's watching.
Please donate to Australia. Have a great time. Get drunk. Take your drugs.
Because remember, this is 2020 we're talking about, when these out-of-touch Hollywood dimwits had started to become a bit too comfortable lecturing their audiences about everything from global wars and climate change to, of course, the pandemic. And people like me were just itching to hear them given a dose of reality and shoved back in the pointless circus where they belong.
Him saying, don't virtue signal, just come out here and get your little prize, go f*** off, because nobody cares about your opinion. I was like, thank you. Thank you, Ricky. Thank you. Thank God. That guy swings. He's out there swinging from the hip, chin up, doesn't give a f***, telling it like it is. I love it. Good for him.
So those are all pre-written, right? Because they had to have those cuts ready to go.
I don't know, man. He's so badass. He might be able to do whatever the f*** he wants. You know, he's Ricky Gervais. He's a real comic. That's a look. There, right down. It said
down a little.
It said a little lower than that. It
Apple
said
TV.
Apple, yeah. While discussing the addition of Apple TV Plus to the room, Gervais noted the irony of a Me Too themed show like The Morning Show being made by a company who runs sweatshops in China. You say you're woke, but if ISIS started a streaming service, you'd call your agent.
Thank God for Ricky Gervais going off Sunday night to let people know that you still got a voice, okay? We still got a voice. You know what? If they want to cancel your TV show, we don't have one. If they want to cancel my Twitter account, I'll keep telling jokes.
Right.
You know, so we're in a society right now that we're not going to stop. The Comedy Store's not going to shut down.
Right.
You know, none of the other clubs are going to shut down. So you have to say what that's what comedy is. It's the truth. It's the truth. So that's what are you scared of? Hearing the
comedy
truth?
is a dark room where adults go to hear the uncomfortable truths.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
You know, when I saw those people at the Grammys, the Golden Globes, they were moving in their chair. That means a comic did his job. And it was weird that when he said it, he struck a chord with all those people. Jeffrey Epstein would be at all those parties mingling. They all knew who the he was, you know. They all knew what was going on with Harvey Weinstein, what he was doing. They all knew. But they didn't give a Nobody raised their hand. We live in a town where if we raise our hand, we lose our career.
Because here's the truth. There's just so much that has happened since 2020 that the year has almost become a flag in the timeline of Hollywood's complete moral collapse. From the Harvey Weinstein scandal, the accusations by former child stars against Disney, the dark Epstein connection, the Sean Diddy trial that exposed a dark underbelly of exploitation and blackmail. Then it was the film Sound of Freedom, where even a movie about trafficking somehow became another culture war battleground. Plus, of course, the moral cowardice that Hollywood displayed in response to Will Smith's slap at the Oscars. And despite that, Hollywood's elite had become a bit too cocky for their own good, when they were deluded enough to believe they still sat on a moral cushion high enough to lecture the public. Because that's exactly what actress Michelle Williams did just a few minutes after Ricky's opening monologue, crediting her film's success to the fact that she'd had an abortion so she could work on the film, while using that anecdote to make a political plea to the audience about which way they should vote.
When you put this in someone's hands, you're acknowledging the choices that they make as an actor, moment by moment, scene by scene, day by day, but you're also acknowledging the choices they make as a person. And I wouldn't have been able to do this without employing a woman's right to choose. So, women 18 to 118, when it is time to vote, please do so in your own self-interest. It's what men have been doing for years.
And that's an eye-roll moment if there ever was one. And it's not even about the politics of it. It's about how tone-deaf you have to be to believe that the same decision you took to gain your extremely materially fulfilled life can be generalized to the entire public. And that's kind of what we saw that same year in 2020 more broadly, when Hollywood's A-listers released this absolute cringe fest of a video singing the song Imagine by John Lennon. Worse yet, singing about no possessions from their multi-million-dollar mansions in a sad plea for relatability with the essential workers during the 2020 lockdowns.
Imagine there's no heaven.
It isn't hard to do.
Nothing to kill or die for.
Imagine no possessions.
Honestly, that song felt like 1,000 ants crawling up my skin. Literally, nobody thinks these people have the slightest clue about the real world, and it blows my mind that they still don't seem to have gotten the memo. And I think that's what allowed Ricky Gervais to use the plausible deniability of comedy, and just give this industry one last satisfying shove before it falls.
This year you didn't host, and do you miss the fact that this was the Weinstein year?
Oh, I was salivating. Honestly, no, I got on adrenaline rush thinking of, you know, what I could say and whether I'd have to go to jail. And I like that opportunity because I do like that, you know, when there's a tension, when there's an elephant in the room, although he wasn't there this year. I do like that because I do like confronting that because I think it takes the audience to a place it hasn't been before. I'm not doing it for the 200 egos in the room. I'm doing it for the 200 million people watching around who aren't winning awards, who aren't millionaires.
And he's right, because I honestly think with the rise of decentralized digital media, this old corporate Hollywood will eventually go down the same dustbin of history as the corporate media. And here's the best part. From all the way since the Cold War to now, decades later, Hollywood has enjoyed its ability to shape mass narratives, and has been lording over their audiences with the cultural power they wield. Except now, something has broken. Nobody's afraid of them anymore, and nobody trusts a word that comes out of their mouth. It's almost like being scared of the ghost in the room, but then just getting up to turn on the lights and realizing there's no ghost there to be afraid of. That's the mass awakening I've seen in the last 5 years in particular. And Ricky Gervais for at least a decade has been the person brave enough to just get up and turn on the lights for the rest of us. In fact, Ricky has already hinted at what his next opening shot would be if they ever made the mistake of handing him a microphone again, writing, "Sat in the bath wondering about what I would say if I were hosting the Golden Globes on Sunday. It's been a pretty good year for material." He'd say, "Hello and welcome to the 82nd Golden Globe Awards. What a year it's been. Hundreds of entertainers jumped at the chance to go to the Vatican to meet the Pope. Many from Hollywood. Obviously, they weren't content with only being part of the second biggest pet ring in the world. It's great to see such diversity in the room tonight. Rich pests of all shapes and sizes." I mean, it's almost like Ricky Gervais had made a point of being as brash as he possibly could, just to see how far he could push the envelope before being muted or taken off the stage. And if you had the displeasure of watching this year's Golden Globes, you saw just how happy Hollywood's front row was when they could finally go back to the diluted self-love fest they call award shows, while trying to rub that moment in Ricky's face.
Ricky Gervais, I love you for not being here. No, I love you, Ricky, but because if you win, I get to accept the award on your behalf, and you're gonna thank God. And the trans community.
And I'm sure Ricky Gervais must have been laughing in pity at the clown show they've gone back to. And that's reflected in how the Golden Globes viewership dropped by nearly 50% from 18 million when Ricky hosted in 2020 to just over 8 million in 2026. But when Ricky Gervais repeatedly picked on Mel Gibson, it almost boiled over into an onstage fight when Mel threatened him live on air. So watch here how that drama unfolded in front of millions of viewers, and subscribe to Elites Exposed for more.